Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is me once again, screaming into the void of the internet. I just got done with a 12-hour shift. We got the jelly legs, but honestly, I'm still gonna do a little bit of a workout, just a micro workout. Just before I go to take a shower and shave and all that good stuff, because I am gonna do that before I go to bed. But I wanted to come up here and talk about something. I wanted to talk about, I guess, degeneracy in society as well as like work infidelity. And I'll lead with work infidelity. Okay. There's this woman who is supposedly I don't know, like she's supposed to be engaged, and yet she's literally just flirting with all of the men in that store. Like she's always constantly trying to get the attention and stuff like that. And I'm sure that sometimes it's just wanting the attention and wanting the like desire, but you know, people make memes about like when you're the guy that everyone at work is cool with, and it just talks about the stuff that you hear, and it's like that crap is true, dude. Because I don't tell anyone's business, I don't share gossip, I don't share drama, right? But I'm a quiet guy, and I'm just overhearing this crap that she's talking to this other woman about, and one of the guys that she's kind of leading on, she's like, "Oh, he should feel comfortable waiting for me just in case if it doesn't go wrong with it. It doesn't go right with my fiance." And I'm just, in my mind, I'm just like, I've been seeing some black pill videos about guys just like, dang, they're having a breakdown, saying that they're so sick of like hearing how awful the gals are and what they want, and it's just like they feel like they're not winning because they don't have a girl in their arms. And I'm just like, well, think about this for a minute, dude. This double X is basically cucking her fiance in everything but the action, at least that we know of so far. She's flirting with all these other guys, and here he is thinking that she's loyal to him, but she's at work flirting with all these other guys. And I overheard her say this to the guy that she's kind of leading on, that I've kind of been like listening to. And she said, because like this guy, he's somewhat respectable, but he said basically like, don't you have a fiance? She shows on her hand, like, do you see the ring? Like, this gentleman, this is the American double X chromosome. Scratch that. This is the modernized, effinism, shall we say, because I can't say the word without YouTube flaring up. This is the modernized effinism, double X chromosome right here. Just toting it around for everyone. Here a guy is thinking that, he's engaged, he's locked down something, he's winning, we're the oofy doofies, we're the oompa loompas, because, we're the losers, the incels, the black pillars, and stuff like that. We just need to suck it up and get good at life. I've got a fiance, I'm winning. And here she is. He's completely unaware of this. He's completely unaware, because if he was aware, then I really wonder if he'd continue. But some guys would. Some guys are just so obsessed, to lock it down for themselves, that they were just like, oh, I don't care, like, as long as she's not doing it, like, in front of me, I guess. But yeah, like, we go to work to earn a living, we don't do it because we like it. I certainly don't like working, not by a long shot. Even despite the fact that I'm almost, what people probably describe a workaholic, considering just how much time I spend at work, the amount of overtime I do, all kinds of stuff, right? But I do it because I know that, regardless of if I like it or not, we have chosen to pursue currency. We have chosen to pursue something that does not have real value over human life. And no matter how much I scream into the void, that's not going to change. No matter how much we in this space are aware of that, that's not going to change. So we have to like fight within the system, People like to say you have to fight against the system. No. You have to fight within the system. And you have to use the tools that are available to you to try and, level the playing field best you can, you know? And I don't mean that in the context of looks maxing or crap involving relationships. I mean that as a whole, like, in life, like for me, wage caging, got me a roof over my head. It got me a PlayStation 5. It got me a lot of things. And it's hopefully going to get me a motorcycle soon, so I hate it, but I also acknowledge that it does allow me to get what I need, Don't worship it, not by any means, but I got to do what I got to do, you know? But that's not what the double X chromosome does, like they go there trying to show out, trying to get compliments, and it's just, I wish that they could show up just like we show up as like, guys and just work and leave, you know? And something funny that happened that I meant to share this with you guys, but I didn't get a chance to because it's been a while since I had a chance to record. There was a Let's Bean, shall we say, and I didn't really talk to this person, okay? Like, I just occasionally, greet them and stuff like that, and that was that. I asked them how they like, working here because it's a very busy store, so I kind of like to know the mental strain that it takes. Literally one night, while like we're getting ready to close, I'm minding my business, I'm working. She stops me and tells me the oddest thing I've ever heard. She said that her girlfriend wanted me to know that she, as in like, the coworker that I'm talking about right now, was dating her, as in her girlfriend. And in my mind, I'm just like, I literally said this word for word, okay, and I just looked around because I don't think that, she must have believed that just me being polite, and greeting a coworker was flirting. That the few moments of conversation that we have had over like weeks, mind you, was flirting. I am not interested in the chick at all. Number one, she's a sister, and I don't like. Let's just say it like this, guys. I don't like Blizzax. I don't date Blizzax. I really don't. Will I bang a Blizzax? Yes, but I will not date them. Won't date them. Like I left the hood for a reason. Like I'm not going back, shall we say? They like to say once you go black, you never go back. I don't want to go back, and I'm black, so that should tell you everything you need to know. But that was the oddest thing ever, because number one, I've never seen her girlfriend, and she's never seen us, and so it's like, how would her girlfriend know that I am talking to her unless, she was talking out? She could have just pulled this out of her arse, like, then they do the stuff like that, double X's do stuff like that to see my reaction, but I don't care. I'm not here for coochie. I'm here for money. And considering what happened to homeboy, who got HR'd, when I made that massive just rant, about gynocentrism, like, I have no interest in anything to do with any of the gals at that store. Because they got that man fired. They got him fired. And some of them to this day who said that, like, he was guilty of what it was, it turns out that it was them. And so I literally make sure to avoid them like the plague. Because I'm here for my money. And this, regardless of what people want to say about wage caging, at least the place where I'm at actually has some decent benefits. Like, I don't really know many places that are going to give me, like, a raise every 6 months. So it's like, that's pretty nice. So yeah, I just focus on my money, and I just think that it's insane that the double X's can't even accept, courtesy, politeness, without interpreting it as flirting. Because listen, guys, I know that there are some, black pillars that'll make videos and they'll talk about how, like, they can't just look at women, or they'll, like, start getting sad because, like, they just want to, like, try and approach them. I don't give a rat's arse, dude. I don't worship the ground that double X's walk on. I don't care. I don't care. Can they be attractive to me? Yes, but I don't even look at them like that these days, because I'm always looking at them through the manipulation lens. Because unfortunately, you have to understand that in this society, in the American society, in the West in general, like whether it's America, Canada, Germany, feminism has just completely destroyed the relationships that, XY and XXs can have together. There is so much animosity between us, and it's just not, I really just fail to see how we are ever going to reconcile. The people who reconcile are the people who literally say, I'm going to get out of this society. I'm going to get out of this society, which is going to kind of bring me to another point, the degeneracy. You know, I led with that to just talk about the degeneracy for a moment. Like, it is degenerate to go around cucking people. It's degenerate to go around when you're supposed to be getting paid at a job and you've got a fiance or husband or wife, whatever, and you're flirting with people. It's degenerate. And this culture celebrates that. Like, you see videos out here of these guys that say, "Oh, I was at the gym and I cucked this guy's girlfriend and like she's hollering for me." And he's like, and he ain't gonna do shit. And it's like, but if this guy pulls a gun and kills him, they're gonna say, "Oh, you just died for a woman. Why did you do that?" It's not about dying for the woman. It's about the fact that you're slapping this man in the face of all the effort that he's done. Because if it was your wife, you would not just let the guy walk away. Let's just be honest. You're going to tell me, honestly, that if it was your wife, that you're just going to let the guy slide. You're not. And you see all of this celebration about cucking people and all this stuff. And the fact of the matter is, not just cuckery, but, lots of stuff. Just, what is it called? Exhibitionist or exhibitionism, some bullcrap like that. Like, we know where like people are banging out in public and stuff like that. And you're seeing all of this, just the degenerate crap around your culture. And guys, I know that we've all got fatigue, and I'm fatigued. I'm very fatigued when I see the degeneracy. And one of the biggest reasons why I'm going to advocate that you should, really consider getting a passport is not to chase pussy. Okay, you should not get a passport and spend thousands, to go over to another country just to pursue pussy. I don't really think that at all. I don't think that. I think you should go because you just want to get away from the degeneracy. You just need to be reminded that there are places in the world where like the effinism is not as strong. Now that's not to say that like the black pill is just not true in these places. It is true. Okay, it's absolutely true. But you need to go to places that where you can just be reminded that this American dystopian westernized degeneracy is just not the norm. It's just not the norm. It's not about relationships between XX and XY. It's just like sometimes, guys, we just need to just not look at this bullcrap. It's not that it's not true, because I think that we should let the black pill guide us. We should use this information to our advantage, but we should also get to the point where it's like, we don't got to look at this degeneracy. I saw a freaking, they're not a couple because, it's several people. And I guess they were on the poly thing, and it was just, colored hair, covered in tats, piercings all over the face. This is literally, this is our society. This is a society that if they wanted to start a war, they're going to try and kidnap me and you, like, we don't have anything to fight for, no land, no property, no family, no rights to children, it's double X choice, it's her body, her choice, but then we should just be forced against our wills, no body and our choice when it comes down to being cannon fodder, right? Inkwell, you must fight for us, you must die for us. We won't do anything for you, but you must die for us, right, Inkwell? You have to just be reminded that there is a world out there. That's why, I'm going to start really advocating, like, if you guys are like, working and stuff like that, I genuinely tell you straight up, guys, save up. Save up not because you want to travel, but just save up to just know that like money is not going to be an object for you. Because, I kind of had this epiphany that, even if I chose to stay at this wage place for like, say, 5 years or something, the amount of money that I'm going to have saved, like the way that I'm living, especially after I get my motorcycle, it's going to be amazing. I'm not going to say numbers, but it's going to be quite nice. In 5 years, I would have made that much of a difference. It's amazing. So I encourage you guys, like, you got to remind yourself that there's a world out there. I would love to see some of these places like Colombia. I would like to see Philippines and stuff because I do like Asians. And yes, I'm obviously going to be freaking, let's just be real, banging double X's when I'm over there. I'm not even going to lie about that. But it would just be nice to be in a culture that just isn't insane. I get that you're going to have insanity in every culture, but like, it just takes the freaking cake here. Like, it's not a contest. Like, everyone is laughing at America Everyone is laughing at the UK. Everyone is laughing at Canada because we are just suffering just cultural enrichment. They destroy you if you're Hugh White, and they just say that you have privilege because you were born with a dick and balls. You're not allowed to hold double X's accountable. Like, everyone is laughing at you. Like, we just have to suffer this crap over here. It's not going to get better. We have to just accept that it's not going to get better. And so, I don't really think that we need to make it better. We just need to accept that, hey, listen, let's get the popcorn and watch it burn. And in the meantime, we can just do other things. Because, listen, guys, like, I do think that there is a life. I'm not one of these guys that tells you that there's no life because you don't have a wife or a family. Like, listen, I'm fine. I'm fine knowing that, like, I'm doing well. Like, I'm doing surprisingly well. I'm doing well to the point where, like, honestly, like, my bank is honestly trying to get me to, like, take out loans and stuff because of how much I'm saving. And now, I'm not going to do it, obviously, but, like, it's the point. Like, I never thought that I would get to a point where, I'd have what I have saved. I never thought that I would get to a point where I'm just walking around just like every other day, and this is what I have access to, and, like, the decisions that I can make, I never thought I'd get to the point where I could honestly consider buying a motorcycle, like, even a car if I wanted to, which I'm not going to buy, but, I never thought that I would get to that point, and here we are. But on the topic of degeneracy, you have to understand that, like, it's fine to just stop looking at this stuff, guys. It's fine to stop looking at this and start doing stuff that just gives you a bit of joy, gives you a bit of contentment. If you need to go ahead and bang a freaking escort, go bang an escort. You need to just go freaking watch your hentai, you watch some hentai. You need to play some video games, you play some video games. You need to work out, work out. I genuinely encourage you guys, find some structure to your life, seriously. Get out of the bed, do some exercises, not because you're trying to get attractive, but because you don't want to be unhealthy. Because some of these guys that say, well, there is no hope and stuff like that, listen, it's a mental thing. I'm not some life coach or some guru guy, but I'm going to tell you something for real, guys. Like, your mind will literally completely cuck your body if you really convince it to. Like, you have no idea. Like, you will already be convincing yourself that this is impossible and stuff like that, and it's just... It's sometimes genuinely more of a mental thing than a physical thing. Like, your mind will just cock block you, especially when all you have done is just suffer negative reinforcement. You do have to kind of just get out of it. It's not about believing that, like, you can always achieve something. It's just knowing that there is a possibility. And for me, guys, yes, I like exercising. I like working out, not because I'm trying to be attractive. I don't take pictures of my body or anything, and I have decided that, like, I don't think I will. I don't think I will share the journey. I would love to, but it's just, you can't take your chances. And considering the kind of content that I'm making, like, if somebody finds out and they're like, I'm gonna just go ahead and get this guy fired, like, I just can't take the risk. And so I am sorry that I can't take you on that journey with me, but I am a lot stronger. I'm not necessarily super jacked or anything. I'm more toned, and hopefully by the end of the year it'll be pretty nice. I'll be doing reps with, like, my bar, which is like 60 pounds. I can do that, like, very easily. I can't do it easily right now, but hopefully by the end of this year I can do it, like, very fairly easily and stuff like that, squats, reps, and that'd be nice. But I'm working with what I got, not because I'm trying to be attractive to anyone, just because I want to be healthy. Like, honestly, I'll tell you something straight, guys. One of my biggest motivators when it comes down to, like, staying fit is just looking at other Americans, like, just looking at the freaking obesity. Like, I can't look at myself in the mirror and just, like, you've ever seen a muffin? Like, how people say a muffin top? Imagine literally just being a muffin top. Like, just the fat is just rolled over your waist like a muffin. Like, that is your body that you're living in, walking in, and you don't care enough to. I don't get it, bro. Yeah, I don't. So, like, it's kind of like what I mean, like, talking about degeneracy. It's like, this society has just accepted so much disgusting behavior, and it's not just, sexual or sensual or, like, crazy stuff with wokeism. It's just, like, stuff like that, like body positivity, and it's just blatant insanity. And it's irritating to look at. It's fatiguing to look at. But you can get to the point, guys, where you recognize that, yes, you need to realize it's there. Like I've always said, accept it. Accept that it's something that you have to deal with and navigate. If you need to take a break from it, you take a break. See it like I see life in terms of a road, okay? If we can avoid this bump, avoid the bump. But if you got to endure the bump, you know, and prepare for it. But there are times where we can sometimes take another road. And if you need to just take a break from the freaking degeneracy fatigue, you take a break, guys. You play some games. You go walk. You got a bike, go ride a bike. Go, you know, kill some exercises. Because, listen, it's fine to just get away from this. It's fine. Don't pretend like it's not happening. You know, don't do what the freaking normies do, but it's fine to get away. Take a break. Do what you got to do, you know? But, that's kind of all I wanted to get off my chest. Because, yeah, it's been some weird stuff going on around here at that job site. And I think about it a lot in comparison to the degeneracy. And it's so irritating to just know that, like, people want to say that all this stuff is just internet garbage and, you know, this isn't the real world. And it's like, I'm looking at it every day. I'm looking at someone who's basically just flirting blatantly, even though she's in a relationship with a fiance. I'm looking at married people, you know, do that stuff. And it's disgusting. I'm looking at people walk in that store and they're on, you know, the average American build, where it's just some overweight, colored haired, insane person. It's not nice to see. But it's important, I feel, to see it because, like, it proves what we're saying. Like, this is our reality now. And no matter how much people want to try and tell you that this is not real and this is just the internet stuff, that this is what you're seeing. This is what you're seeing now. So you got to prepare. But I'm going to leave you boys with that. How have you guys been doing? You know, I'm not going to always try and say, hope you guys enjoy. I want to know, how have you guys been doing? How have you guys been hanging in there? You know, how's your mental health doing? You know, feel free to leave that in the comments. You know, I've been getting some new comments and some new people. And I'm happy. I'm happy to see stuff like that because I feel like a lot of black pill videos just, you know, are just depressing and depressing and depressing. And I'm not a very hopeful person. I'm not an optimist. Not at all. You know, but I do encourage you guys to pursue happiness in some form. Pursue contentment. I'm not going to pretend like you're going to achieve, you know, everything. I don't say that at all. But I do think that there is something to pursue out here. You know, even if it's just you just banging a hooker. Even if it's just that, you know, there are things to pursue here. Because honestly, guys, I don't care about life the way that other people do, you know, but there's things, honestly, I can say this now, that I do want to accomplish. Not necessarily like grand or anything, but I do, you know. One of those things is obviously, like, you know, the sex robot technology, but if I couldn't do it because, like, engineering was just too complicated, I'd probably, like, try and find another way to, you know, do stuff with it. And not in that way a sick bastard, but, nah, seriously. I think that would be fun. And even if I couldn't do it, it would just be nice to, like, kind of just advertise the technology. I think that would be cool. You know, obviously other things, just riding different kinds of motorcycles. Very fun. Very fun. I'm very excited to get it. So, how are your... I don't know if this is the right word. How are you all's... Yeah, it sounds terrible grammar. I don't know. But how's your mental health? I would love to know that. So, that's the comment that I'm going to leave. Instead of saying, I hope you guys enjoyed, I want to know, how are your guys' mental health? You know, please leave that down. I'm very curious to know. I'll always tell you guys, again, there is life beyond your pain. Pain is temporary. You know, everyone likes to talk about entropy, but yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Like, everything's temporary in a certain aspect, including your pain, including the suffering. It is temporary. Feels like it's never going to end, but it doesn't, you know. I certainly don't feel it when I'm sleeping, I'll tell you that much, you know. Don't feel it when I'm sleeping, and I certainly don't feel it when I'm getting frisky with an escort, shall we say, you know, like, so. There's life beyond it, guys. There's life beyond that pain. So endure the bad days to enjoy the good ones. God bless. I will see you guys next time.